UltraQuiet pilot videos are powered by Virtual Fly. Hello there friends and followers, and welcome to this first impressions video of the recently released and long-awaited Airfoillabs King Air 350. In this first impressions video, we are going to be taking a look at the aircraft 3D modeling, the texture work, the different features and options available in this aircraft, and we're going to start it from its cold and dark state, and we're going to take it for a short flight around Custer Airport, and I'm going to be providing you with my initial thoughts on this magnificent creation by Airfoillabs. After careful interrogation of real-world footage and comparing it to the Airfoillabs model, I can assure you that Airfoillabs has done a phenomenal job in recreating a highly authentic rendition of the King Air 350. The high-resolution textures, the incredibly detailed 3D model, coupled with an immaculate application of physically based rendering, makes this aircraft one of the very best I have seen in terms of 3D modeling and texture work. As you can see here, the engine, the blades, the gear area right here, really an incredible rendition of the King Air 350. Let us now jump into the 3D cockpit and examine the rest of the passenger cabin. Welcome to the 3D cockpit of the Airfoillabs King Air 350. I don't think I really need to say anything about the quality and the authenticity of this 3D cockpit. Really a beautiful rendition of the real-world aircraft cockpit. All the dials, the switches, everything is in the right place and everything looks so realistic. The application of PBR, or physically based rendering, on all the parts inside the cockpit is done to a very high standard. I really have a lot of appreciation for the final finish and the finesse that Airfoillabs has put forward in this aircraft modeling. The texture work is of the highest quality and everything looks absolutely amazing. By the way, everything in the 3D cockpit is clickable or movable. If we look up here, again, all the lights can be moved, and you can also click here on the oxygen mask. Everything really is done with a lot of thought. One feature I really like is how you can jump from the pilot to the co-pilot seat. So if we click here, we can jump to the co-pilot seat, and clicking here again will take you back to the pilot seat, which is really a nice feature. Really beautiful, beautiful aircraft in terms of the 3D modeling. Let's go ahead and take a look at the, by the way, look at those seats, look at those leather seats. Absolutely incredible work by Airfoillabs on this aircraft. Okay, let's take a look at the passenger cabin. Wow, look at that. Now, does that look real or what? Beautiful rendition really of the aircraft. Those seats look very, very real. Very fine details. The carpet here, the wood area here, the cup holders, and we can click here and go back to the baggage compartment, and really everything has been thought of very, very well. And this is the aircraft door. Let's go ahead and open the door. And now we have enabled, we can walk outside the aircraft, and now the walk around mode is enabled, where you can see those highlighted areas where those are clickable areas. So if we click here, it will open the, I'm not sure what that is. Is it a storage area of some sort? But look at that landing gear and all the details, absolutely incredible. Now in the walk around mode, you can actually toggle the tie downs, the chocks, and so on and so forth, and remove the engine covers. Let us now take a look at some of the features that Airfoillabs has built into this beautifully modeled aircraft. The first thing I'm going to show you is the next generation. I'm going to call this the next generation control panel because it is non-invasive, so it doesn't stay on the screen. As soon as you hover, everything comes up here. This is where you can start the aircraft from a cold and dark state, before start, before taxi, and before takeoff. So what this tells you is that this aircraft was not just built for the advanced flight simmer, but the casual simmer can enjoy this aircraft as well. This is a study level aircraft, and I know a lot of you do not like that term, but indeed it is a study level aircraft, very complex. All the aircraft systems have been simulated, so you can have access to the 2D panels here. So we can click here and we can remove it again by clicking again. All the ground equipment is available here, and you can also add a nice feature is the fuel truck. So if we click here, we can either bring the fuel truck from the menu here, or you can simply click here, and guess what? Look at that. Isn't that cool? That is really, really cool. I'm not sure what this wire is for, but it's there. But you can here set the gallons, the fuel rate, refuel rate, and the unit price for the fuel for extra realism. I'm not exactly sure how to engage the fuel truck to actually load the fuel into the aircraft, but you can always go to the edit option here and change the aircraft fuel imbalance. But there's also an option where you can do it from this little guy here. So if we click here, as you can see now, you have the weight and balance screen where you can change the fuel and the main right, main left, as well as the auxiliary tanks. You can also set the load weight preset, so you can either have it full crew only, you can add the number of passengers, you can select the rows here, the weight of the passengers on the different rows, which gives you very granular control over the weight and balance of this aircraft, and you can also toggle the units between kilograms and pounds. If you have interest in knowing what this aircraft's engine look like, there is a solution for you. You can just open the engine cover here and take a closer look at the engine. Look at that 3D modeling, just really exquisite 3D modeling of the engine. Very, very realistic look and very fine details from Airfoillabs. I'm going to close this here, and you can also come up here and check the engine oil. There we go. I don't think it does anything at this point, but it's there again for increased realism. Really fun things to do, some fine details there that you can discover as you do the walk around and make sure the aircraft is flight worthy. Another nice feature that Airfoillabs has integrated into this aircraft is the camera feature, and if you hover to the bottom left corner of the screen, you will get this icon. Clicking this icon will switch between the interior and exterior camera presets. For example, if we click on this particular preset here, that's the aircraft nose, and we can do the same. We can actually look out the window. Actually, we can look at the engine here. There we go. So that's the engine preset, and you can also select a window view here, so we can look out the window, which is also very, very cool. Look at the details on the windows here. Very nice. Again, really fine details into the 3D modeling and the texture work. Very, very well done. Another thing you can do is if you click on this camera icon again, and now we can look at the different presets inside the aircraft. So this is one. Now what I don't like is it doesn't really put the camera forward, so it retains the last position, which makes it a bit difficult. So if we click here now, this is the pilot and the co-pilot, and this goes down here, this goes up. Yeah, now it's fine. As soon as you tilt the camera, then it's going to point in the right direction. So again, fine details. This should actually look here. So again, really nice features in this aircraft. I'm going to call this the next generation control panel. I really, really like how they have done this. I think this is a very well thought of control panel. The way it's been designed, it has the user in mind. It's very non-invasive, very, very cool. Okay, so we're going to take a look at some of the other clickable items here. Of course, you can open these windows. Everything really is clickable, and all the aircraft systems are simulated, and which makes this one of the most complex aircraft in X-Plane 11. Very, very complex, very well made. and the sounds are also good, and we're going to be taking a look at that in just a few moments. Another very good feature in this aircraft is the pilot operating handbook. Now there is a full PDF manual, about 60 megs PDF file that contains the entire aircraft manual, containing information on the installation, the aircraft, and all the different features, which you can download from the Airfoillabs website. Link to their website will be, of course, provided in the video description. Now, the pilot operating handbook is where you're going to go for a lot of different information, including some information about the aircraft dimensions and limits. But what is really nice about this handbook is that it offers an interactive checklist. So these are all the limits, and this is now the normal procedures. So when you want to start a specific phase, you can go to flight inspection and you can say start checklist to start the checklist. Now Airfoillabs has given us the option to either have a manual checklist flow, semi-automatic, or automatic. In the manual mode, you manually advance to the next item by clicking on the item in the checklist or pressing against the keyboard shortcut. In the semi-automatic, by completing an action, the checklist will advance automatically to the next item. The automatic checklist flow will automatically perform everything that you need until the checklist is completed, and you can also control the speed at which the checklist moves through the different items. Really a great way for those of you who want to learn the aircraft and want to learn exactly what is the correct procedure of operating this aircraft, but also very good for those of you who just want to watch the checklist being performed for you and quickly take the aircraft for a flight. Another nice feature in the pilot handbook is the performance page, where you have the landing and takeoff data, and this will be set automatically for you based on the different parameters, the actual gross weight of the aircraft, the wind speed, and so on and so forth, the runway length required, considering the aircraft weight. You can set your flaps, bleed air, and engine anti-ice as well from this menu here, and that will of course affect your V1, V-rotate, and V2 speeds. And this is the field length required for the aircraft to take off. All you have to do is change the configuration here and set the markers for both takeoff and landing. Again, a very nice feature that Airfoillabs has integrated into this aircraft. The time has come for us to start this aircraft from its cold and dark state and take it for a short flight. The GPU unit is connected, and you have to actually turn it on. So we're going to come here and turn it on. How cool is that? Okay, let's head over back to the cockpit. And since this is a first impressions video, we are not going to be following the actual checklist. It's going to be my checklist. So let's remove the yoke. External power is on, and battery is on. There we go, battery is on. And let's see here. So we're going to start with the right engine first. So we're going to turn on our beacon, which is already turned on. And let's see, the props are full forward. And we can start the right engine first. So we're going to say ignition right. And we're going to come here to the condition levers. I'm going to take it to low idle. And now we should watch the engine start. There we go. Let's listen to the sounds. Lovely sounds. Okay, so what we're going to do is put the condition lever on high idle. Now we can turn on the generator. And we can turn off external power. Okay, and next we are going to be starting, we actually can remove the GPU now, and what we're going to do is start the left engine. Okay, and low idle. And we can now bring the engine. Ooh, that's not what I wanted to do. Both on low idle. Alright, thank God I didn't kill the engines. They were still running. Okay. Alright, so the left generator, and we'll reset it. Just make sure this one is reset as well. And all's looking good now. Let's go ahead and turn on the inverters and arm the auto feather. Let's see here, landing. We're gonna put the taxi lights on and the recog lights. Ice protection, we'll leave them for now. Let's turn on the bleed air. Okay, so the FMC is now working, and this is your regular X-Plane 11 FMC. Which we are not going to be programming. Everything's looking good here. Let me show you what the aircraft looks like during nighttime. So we're going to turn on the master lights on, and we're going to change the time to nighttime. Look at those lights, absolutely phenomenal. It's really, really nice. I really like what they've done. And by the way, the FPS is actually pretty good. I was actually surprised to see an aircraft of this complexity and still maintain very good FPS. So it actually handles a lot better than the Coronado B1900. We're getting about 41 frames here during nighttime, which of course consumes slightly more frames than daylight. Okay, so we're going to remove the frame counter now. And we're going to take it back to about this time here. We're going to turn off those lights. Okay, we are good to go. Everything is looking good here. Let's see here. Pitch trim is off. Left engine anti-ice. Why is the pitch trim off? Pitch trim is on. Oh, there we go. It's gone. It might be a glitch there. That needs fixing, but we are good to go now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to release the parking brake, and we're going to head over to the runway. Parking brake is released, and let's head over to the runway and depart. Alright, here's the runway. So we're going to turn on our landing lights. Landing lights are on. Strobe. Taxi can go off.
Approaching 03.
Flaps are set for takeoff.
On runway 03.
Okay, here we go.
Auto feather lights on. Airspeed alive. 60 knots. V1. Rotate. V2. Gear positive rate.
Okay, gears going up.
Attitudes check. Gear indicates up.
Reduce the speed here a bit.
Flaps up.
Okay, flaps up.
Flaps indicates up.
I tell you, flying this aircraft is a lot of fun. Let's make a right turn here. I think there is an airport right ahead of us right there. Maybe we'll just land the aircraft. I tell you, everything in this aircraft, from the 3D modeling, the texture work, the features, has been done to a very high standard, a very high quality rendition of the King Air 350. I was surprised not to see a failure module in this aircraft. So hopefully this is something that's in the making for a future update. But it would be really fun to have the failures module in this aircraft, similar to the Cessna 172 by Airfoillabs. We're a bit too high.
Approaching
200 feet to minimums.
03, right.
100 feet to minimums.
Alright, the flaps are set for approach.
Minimums.
Starting to see the first red dot now, so we're just about there. There we go, that's the second. No, we're too low.
$100 feet. 50 feet. Props full. Props full.
All right, we've made it safely back on this airport here. Not sure which airport this is. Before I give you my final remarks on this aircraft, I wanted to show you the rain effect, which in my view is not done properly, and it's not worthy of an aircraft of this quality. But this is how the rain effect is simulated on this aircraft. Well folks, this brings us to the conclusion of our first impressions video of the Airfoillabs King Air 350. In my view, this aircraft is a must-have for X-Plane 11. It is without a doubt a high-quality rendition of the aircraft and a study-level simulation of the real King Air 350. It is suitable for both the advanced flight simmer as well as those of you who just want to fly the aircraft. On a scale from 1 to 10, I'm going to award the Airfoillabs King Air 350 a final score of 9 out of 10. And I'm deducting the point for the lousy rain effect on the windshield, which I hope will be addressed in a future update. Well, these are my first impressions, and until next time, please take care of yourselves and each other, and I will see you all